Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond Your Knowledge. So today we are going to be studying antiarrhythmic drugs, okay? And before we continue, I would like to share with you Exodus 15:11, and says that, "Who is like you, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in glorious deeds, doing wonders?" So this is that was Exodus 15:11. Yeah, there is no other like our God. Amen. Thank you to Jesus and the English with amen. Well, now we're going to be studying the Antiarrhythmics Classification. By Vaughan Williams. So, but who was Vaughan Williams? So Vaughan Williams, basically introduced this in classification in the 1970, and his name was Miles Vaughan Williams. So Miles was the tutor for pharmacology at Hertford College in Oxford. So one of his students, Brahma and Singh, contributed to the development of this classification system and had subsequent eminent career in the United States. So the system is therefore sometimes known as a Singh Vaughan Williams classification. So the 5 main classes in the Vaughan Williams classification of antiarrhythmic agents are, so what are those? Class 1, class 2, okay, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so those 5 classes. Got it. So with that in mind, we can continue and enter more deep. So on the one is going to divide it in 1A, 1B, and 1C. Okay, so while the 2 is just 2 and the 3 is just 3. Okay, so now we can move on and we'll open a new slide, and in the new slide is going to be here. So what are we going to see? So we're going to see the title first. Okay, so antiarrhythmic drugs by Vaughan Williams Classification, also known so other people know this, give credit to the lady that contribute, the student, so which is otherwise going to be Singh. Is right here. So probably it's better. Okay, so there we go. Simple classification. Okay, so now, yes. So we're going to see the class. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to see the drugs. Okay. See the drugs. So here we need more space, and then the predominant actions. Okay. Then the predominant actions. So I will copy this because probably one slide is not going to be enough. So let's just, then if we don't use it, it's okay. But if we use it, well, we have it, and then we save time. What do you think? Okay, so just in case. So now let's just go more deep. We're going to start with the class 1A. Class 1A, so what are the 3 drugs that we have? First, we need to put a name. So those class 1A is the sodium channel blockers. So since class 1A, class 1B, and class 1C, all of those are calcium channel blockers. Okay, so all those are calcium channel blockers. Now what are the 3 drugs that we can mention here? So That is a mnemonic that people says that is a double quarter, please. So so this is a D, Q, and P. So imagine that you go to a fast food and then you want to eat a burger. You say, oh, double quarter, please. D for disopyramide. Q for procanamide, and I mean this is P, sorry. Yeah, so Q for quinidine, and yeah, so it should be I, quinidine, and P for procanamide. Got it. Class 1A. What is the predominant actions? So these predominant action, they need to slow. So what did they need to do? They need to slow your AP, your action potential. Okay, so since it's the first time that we write action potential, so let's just write it as it is. Slow your action potential, and then we're going to be abbreviating as AP, action potential. Okay, so it's going to slow your action potential conduction. Velocity. Okay, so that means they're going to take more time. So this is one of the mechanisms, the predominant actions. So the second one is going to prolong. What do you think is going to prolong? Yes, it's going to prolong your action potential duration. Action potential duration. And then this one, duration. This one we're going to abbreviate APD. Got it? So your class 1A antiarrhythmic slow the action potential conduction velocity. So that's going to take more time, but it's going to prolong your action potential duration. Okay? So and now, since we are going to continue talking about the class 1 because it has 3 divisions, so I would like to split this this line yellow means that's been sodium channel blockers. Okay, but it's class 1B now. Okay, class 1B. So this class 1B, we have 3. What are the three that you think? Well, yeah, sorry, I was thinking the mnemonic that I used to use, so I just got to thinking. Okay. Yeah, so well, you ask first in the class 1A, you ask, and then you went and you say double quarter, please. Okay, double quarter, please. Well, when we go to class 1B, you are going to ask also, please, and this place is going to be for phenytoin. Okay, for phenytoin, let me just put a please let us and yeah, so and then L for the letters is going to be lidocaine. Please, letter and mayonnaise. Okay, and then this M is for mexiletine. Okay, so well, yes, so those are the three of class 1B. But what does those class 1B do? Well, there is not going to be no effect. So what? So there is going to be no effect. Yeah, no effect on the action potential. No effect on the action potential conduction velocity. Versus the class 1A, that yes, they have effect on the action potential velocity, but in the class 1A they slow your action potential conduction velocity. But in this class 1B, there is no action on action potential conduction velocity. And what's happened with your action potential duration? So your action potential duration is going to be shortened. Okay, so shortens your action potential duration. So this is a class 1B. Well, now we're going to enter the class 1C. So we're going to use the notebook page, but I will just draw this line here, and then yeah, because we move on to this one here, and then it's class 1C. In the class 1C, oh yeah, let me fix something here. So now we can go to class 1C. So the class 1C, it is easy. Yeah, so class 1C, and you remember that we start with the mnemonic in the class 1A, double quadruples for desoperamide, for quinidine, and for procanamide. Then we say please again. Please letters, and mainness was P for phenytoin, L is for letters, for lidocaine, and M is for mexiletine. Well, we continue with the P for please. Okay, so and then we have please, but this please in the 1C stand for propafenone. Propafenone. Well, how can I remember all those P's? So let's just see. The first P is for procanamide, so has the word pro. Usually when people is, oh, you are a pro, this is something pro, is number one. So everything, almost everything that is pro is number one. Okay, this is how we think sometimes, or something that is very good level. So P for procanamide for in the first one. So first one is procanamide. Then the second one is phenytoin. Okay, and then the third one is going to be propafenone. Well, but that has another pro, and then you say, oops, but what's going on? Now you have, well, but don't worry about it. So that show us that doesn't matter if you are in A or you are in C, you still be in a pro. Okay, and then in the middle you need to have phenytoin. Okay, yeah, so just this is the way that I remember. So I think in the pro 1A and the 1C, but procanamide comes before propafenone because procanamide start with the letter C, has the letter C after the pro, and then the 1C has the letter P after the pro, and the C comes before the P. For this reason, procanamide is going to be first, and then the class 1C is going to be propafenone, and then I need to have faith to learn all these things. So and then I need 1B, which is going to be phenytoin. Okay, that's it. This is class 1B phenytoin. Okay, well, this is the way that I remember. I don't know, probably it's a long story or something, but each person is something to learn. Yes, but let's just come back to the propafenone. So propafenone, and that was the 1C, But do you remember that we mentioned that there is going to be please with something, please fries. So usually when you go to fast food, you ask for your burger or whatever is double quarter pound. You say, oh yes please, I want lettuce, I want mayonnaise, this is okay. But then you at the end say, oh yes please, fries. Okay, so now on the F is going to stand for flecanite. Okay, so flecanite. Got it. Now as what is the predominant actions or the mechanism of action? So this one, if you see class 1C has similar mechanism and on the class 1A, but we're going to see the difference and the similitude. So in those, they are similar because both of them, they are going to slow your action potential conduction velocity. Okay, conduction. So this is identical. So how can I differentiate? So that because class 1A prolongs your APD, so your action potential duration, but the class 1C doesn't like to be prolonged. Okay, just like student that has all A's, so they spend long time sometimes studying, sometimes they don't. They are super smart that they don't. They just, well, that's good. But the other class, once it is, that has the minimum effect on the APD. Okay. But student that has C, they spend hours too. So this is not the best association. So, but it is easy to remember. So minimal effect on APD. On APD, which is your action potential duration. Okay. Class 1C. Good. So now we can move on to number 2. Yeah. So the number 2, what is the second letter of the alphabet? The B. So we're asking this. So because we're going to learn, because this class 1B, we're going to say that they are beta blockers. So I'm B for beta, B for the second. Okay, and so how we can remember this? Well, I should say it is not that hard to remember. So let's just first, how much is 2 plus 2? 4. So well, we have 4 drugs to remember here. Okay, so we start with the A. Okay, then we have M. Okay, then if I put on the side M, I have E. Okay, and then I have one more letter, and if I count to 2, 3, so 3C, so AMEC, or you just learn AMEC. So the class 1, 2, you need to remember AMEC. AMEC, and A is for atenolol. Atenolol. M is for metoprolol. E is for esmolol. Esmolol. So all those are ha 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 ha. So all those at the end is lol 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 lol. Okay, and then the last one is carvedilol. There should be a V there. Carvedilol. Yeah, there we go. Carvedilol. So what does carvedilol, esmolol, metoprolol, atenolol, AMEC? What does AMEC, beta receptor blockers, do? It's not just, yeah. So what did they block? They block the receptors. So beta receptors blockers. So the beta receptors blockers. Okay. Just like this. So remember your beta receptors blockers. AMEC, atenolol, metoprolol, esmolol, carvedilol. So now what do they do? Now we can go into that. So they are going to slow your sinus node, okay, sinus node discharge rate. Okay, so that means that it is very important that they are in control of on the rate of your heart. Okay, what else do they do? They are going to slow your AV nodal conduction. So they are a master in slowing things. Okay, so slows your AV, and then AV stand for atrioventricular. I will atrioventricular. So your they slow your atrioventricular nodal conduction. Yes, but they prolong. And they prolong. What do you think that they prolong? Refractoriness. Okay. Okay, so okay. Refractoriness. Got it. Cool. Let's see what we can. What else? So this is a class 2. Okay. So we have 2 more classes to learn. Okay, so let's just open a slide here. I can just. So now I come class 3. The class 3, well, is going to be potassium channel blockers. This is the first that we need to learn. So potassium channels blockers. Got it. So and this is so for these potassium channel blockers, well, how probably any mnemonics or something. So first, so it is just like add S. Okay, at S, or you can say ADD for the disorder, like disorder, attention, deficit disorder, or add when you're adding something. So add S. Okay, and yeah, so any of those that work for you. So in that order, A, D, D, S. S is for sotalol. So I'm adding sotalol to block their calcium channel blockers with amiodarone, with dronedarone, and with the fetalite. There we go. So I add sotalol in potassium channel blockers, also using amiodarone, dronedarone, and dofetalite. Sotalol, dronedarone, amiodarone. Okay, so ADDS. So what is the function? What is the predominant action? What is the mechanism of action? So first, they have no effect. They have no effect on the action potential conduction velocity. On action potential conduction velocity. There we go. Remember that the class 1B also, didn't have either no effect on the action potential conduction velocity like class 3, class 1B doesn't. Do you remember? Yes, we remember. Well, the class 1-3 also is going to prolong your action potential duration. Prolong your action potential duration. I will write a note here. So compare with the class 1B, with the 1B. Yes, and in the prolonged action potential, if you remember, we remember, yes. So prolong your APD, the other the prolong your APD is your class 1A. So compare it. Compare the class 1A, sorry. I don't know if I say B or A, but it is A. So that means when I think in the class 3, in the adds Sotalo on the ADDS, so for amiodarone, jornadaron, dofetalide, Sotalo, I need to think that this is basically has two things in the mechanism of action, have two part of the mechanism of action that class 1A and class 1B has, and one of those is in class 1B, for example, is there is no effect on the action potential conduction velocity, and then the other one is going to be your prolonged action potential duration, which is going to be the class 1A. And since we mentioned class 1A, let's just repeat the other mechanism of action that class 1A has, but class 3 doesn't. So it is class 1A also slows your action potential conduction velocity, put it to be slower than before, okay? But it's just class 1A. And the class 1B, that class 3 doesn't have, is that shortens your action potential duration, okay? And the similitude are the same. It is that there is no effect on the action potential conduction velocity, okay? Any of those. Well, I think that was the class 3. So let's just move on to the class 4, okay? So in the class 4, so there's going to be 4 here. And what is those are called the non-dihydropyridine calcium channel blockers. Okay, so it looks like it's the non-dihydropyridine calcium channel blockers. Calcium channel blockers. Yeah, should be an S there. Yeah, let's just put it trying to just do it better here. Blockers. So we have 2 here, and this we have 2 though, okay? And if you remember, interesting, because you remember that the class 2 we mentioned, okay, 2 plus 2 is 4. Well, because there were 4 medications for the 2. Well, in the class 4 is 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, so that means that we have 2 medications, and they need to think in the VD. Okay, so it's going to be VD for, or we can mention VD for video, D for digital, so digital video, okay? So verapamil and the dialdazim, okay? Yeah, so let's just think, I will write it, so digital video, okay, and then yeah, so oops, I don't know what's gonna, sorry, yeah, so D for digital, and then this digital is going to be dialdazim, Okay. Okay, so let's just, there we go, and then cool. Yeah, so I think that with that in mind, so we can, yeah, those are digital video. And what is the mechanism of action? Let's just talk about the mechanism of action. So data videos, they are not as fast as 4K, for example, in the modern times. So they are more slow. So, but they still been good, but it's still been slow. So then just like video cassette was super slow, but digital videos is okay. I mean, 4K bro is digital video, but it's not high definition. Yeah, this is an thing to say. Yeah, so but they are going to slow your sinus node discharge. Okay, this slows your sinus node discharge. Oops. So that sounds familiar to me. So we're going to compare with the class 2. The same. So slows sinus node discharge is the same. So class 2. Then in the class 4, they're going to slow your atrioventricular. So slows your atrioventricular nodal conduction, and they're going to prolong refractoriness. Yeah, so this is the class 4, which is the same that's class 2. Okay, so just compare class 2. So let's just mention very fast the class 2. Do you remember your AMEC for AMEC? Atenolol, metoprolol, esmolol, and carvedilol. Yes. Well, thank you so much for check it. Enjoy it. God bless you. Remember, we can do all things through Christ and in us. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. God bless.